Welcome back to the Humble Marksman Gun Channel, the only gun channel here on YouTube dripping with that BDE. That's right, Big Dad Energy. Another joke for you guys. When Mario broke up with Peach, he said, "It's not you, it's a me, Mario." Always have bad jokes ready for your business meetings. Like, that's a pro tip, life tip for you guys. I'm David, and today we're here to talk about the Shield RMSx, or Reflex Miniature Sight XL, or large. It is basically the competition optic that is available from Shield Sights. It is an aluminum housing auto adjuster in 4 or 8 MOA with a polymer lens. There's not a lot of information on the American internet about this, but after the last IPSC World Shoot at the end of last year, I saw this thing kind of show up, so I went on Midway and I bought this. I spent about $400 for the 8 MOA one. Some of the criticism that I had heard from people about the sight is that it was fragile, and so I ended up putting nearly 2,000 rounds through it to see if it was going to break on this Beretta, as you see here in the slide mounting configuration. Now, what really interested me about this sight, specifically for the Beretta application, is Berettas basically mount their dots at the very top of the slide, and it's nice to have your dot closer to the bore than it is to have a very tall dot. So I was like, well, that really makes sense for the Beretta application, but I think it probably makes sense for a lot of other guns too, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, the body height on the optic is super duper low profile. So what that gets you is it sinks the dot down from up here to much closer to the bore so that it behaves more like iron sights. The mechanical offset at close range distances is going to be a little bit less, but also if you think about a red dot, you're basically bolting on between an ounce and a half. The Shield RMS sights weigh almost nothing. This thing weighs like half an ounce or something like that. So the theory there is you're not putting a bunch of weight on top of the slide, so as the gun goes to the rear, it's not going to contribute as much to the lift. Now, that was not observable. I didn't notice an advantage that way, but I did want to maintain slide velocity, and I can say that the gun does feel like it shoots better. The return feels crisper. It's not something you can actually go and exploit, but I like the way the gun shoots with a lighter optic on it more than I did. I was using a Seymour RTS2, which is about one of the biggest and heaviest optics you could mount on the slide, and I like the way the gun shoots with this amount of weight on it a little bit better. That said, a lot of people have warned me and said that these things are going to break and fall apart or whatever, so I ended up putting nearly 2,000 rounds on it. I need to get the project out there. The goal was to have 2,000 rounds through it, but I think it's 16 and some change on it right now, so that's gonna be close enough for my purposes. Does that mean it's gonna break at 2,000? I don't know, but 1,500 is, you know, that's a month for a heavy burn shooter who's shooting in competitions or whatever, and so far it's held up just fine. Does that mean I recommend this sight? No. I recommend the glass lens version of it if you're gonna look at it at all, because the things cost, I paid $400 for this on Midway USA, and I imagine the new glass ones, the glass lens ones that they just announced are going to show up at around the $450 price point if you were to check it out. Now, if you were to look at this at an indoor range or under like store lights in the counter, because it does have an auto adjuster, and the Shield auto adjusting sights are super sensitive and there are multiple light sources, what ends up happening is when you look at it, it looks like the thing is flickering just a little bit. That's not like a refresh issue or anything like that. There's lots of different points of light in the room, and as it kind of picks up on that, it's kind of bouncing around between brightness levels because it adjusts super duper quickly. When I take this sight to an outdoor range and it's just the sun burning like it likes to do, there is no flicker whatsoever about it, and the Shield sight, to its credit, provides the right amount of dot. The disadvantage, you can't, you know, bloom it, and potentially if you are on a cloudy day and you do like a shoot house stage or something like that, where the lighting changes, as the dot intensity will change as well. I couldn't create any problems with this, but I don't have access to like shoot houses or anything to see how it would behave. So your mileage may vary. So that is the RMSx. I don't think this is gonna be squared away for duty use, but then again, it's not trying to be. I think it's probably a good optic to be checking out for slide ride applications. I don't know that it would be my #1 recommendation, but there's a lot going on with this optic, specifically the glass one, that I like better than that. And also for your inner peacock, on their website, you can actually choose different colors for the shroud if you don't mind paying more and waiting longer for them to come from the UK, where these things I believe are made. I would be lying to you if I didn't look very hard at getting one of these for my open gun in kind of an outrageous kind of purple magenta color for my gun. Ultimately, I didn't want to buy a new scope mount, so that's why it didn't happen. If you have any questions or experience with the RMSx, sound off in the comments. I'm curious what other people's experience has been. If you have particularly harrowing stuff, I will pin it so that everybody can benefit from your experience.